here we are with the first edition of 760 Weekly. I'm Dom, DMuse13, aka the Saints. Got Chris next to me here, Nako12, the Titans.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so basically what we're going to be doing here, going to be doing this once a week. We're kind of just going to evaluate 760 at this point in time. We're going to look through, at least today, we're going to look through the standings. We're going to look at who's returning, maybe some of these new faces here. Take a look through stats and just kind of see how the league's going at this point in the year. So let's get started here.
All right, we're gonna start off here by looking at the standings, see how everyone's faring so far in the season. We'll go by conference, I guess, to start.
Let's break it down by individual conference. Start with this AFC North action. See who we got here.
AFC North's pretty competitive. Bengals are 3-1. The Browns are 3-1.
That's unexpected, honestly. 3-1 out of the Browns.
Yeah, did not see that coming. Steelers, a high-powered offense, only 2-2 so far this season.
2 wins, but you're dropping 151 points. That's interesting to see, you know. Definitely got to pull that around.
The Ravens look hopeless so far. They're getting outscored by basically 100 route to an 0-4 start. Never like to see that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I want to see how Flacco's doing once we get to these stats. I wonder if that's the reason why, if there's something else going on there.
Moving to the AFC South.
Hey, what can you say?
Yeah, you're killing it, man. You're 4-0. Big game against Gouda this week and the Dolphins.
Yeah, well,
2 4-0 teams.
We'll see how that goes. But yeah, AFC South. And everyone else is 1-3. Really looks like Texans are letting up a lot of points. That's surprising to see, you know, with their defense, probably one of the top 5 units, letting up a lot of points there. Just interesting to see. I believe I played the Texans in 760, if not a different league. I do know that Deshaun Watson, he's definitely got some growing room, especially with this new Madden. I mean, it really takes into account all the QB stats. You can't just roll out there with any QB. So I wonder if that's what's kind of got them down this path, at least in 760.
Hey, I mean, J.J. Watt would look good as a Saint, so if you want to talk about a rebuild, Houston, you know where to find me. But yeah, come on, boys. Catch up to him. Don't let him run away with that division. AFC East, very competitive. No one's below 500. The Jets are 3-1, so the Jets and the Browns are both 3-1 so far this season. Props to you guys.
See, and that might honestly go against something I was just talking about. You know, I was mentioning how Watson that might be the reason the Texans are struggling. I'm really curious if McCown's playing for the Jets or if they're a more traditional, I guess, Madden player and rolling with a younger QB. I guess we'll have to see. But I mean, if I were the Jets, I'd be rolling with McCown.
Yeah, Petty and Hackenberg don't have a lot of potential going forward, but I'm sure they're not playing McCown. Gouda's there, outscoring people by 120. He just whooped my butt, so props there.
184 points in 4 games.
Ajayi's a monster, man.
That's almost 50 points a game.
Offensive Player of the Week, reigning. Tore apart my defense.
So one thing I'm curious about, you know, Gouda's doing this new thing this year, the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week. Is he just copying and pasting that from the stats, or is he choosing a different offensive and defensive player than the Madden chooses? Do you know?
I don't know. That's a great question. Daddy Leagues also chooses one typically, so I wonder where he's getting his information from. By the way,
have to line those all up.
Gouda week 3, I thought Drew Brees' touchdown run should have been at least in the honorable mentions for top plays, but we'll talk about that later. Look at this. The Bills are getting outscored by 18, and the Patriots are outscoring people by 25, and they have the same record.
Interesting. High scoring so far in this league, you know. Very high scoring. Everyone's over 100.
Surprising considering the QB stats we were looking at earlier. Seems like everyone's struggling with the turnover bug. I'm sure there are a lot of deep ones going on. The AFC West is open. I mean, all 4 of these teams have solid rosters, I would think. I heard the Chiefs benched Patrick Mahomes this past week and started rolling with Alex Smith.
Well, the thing is, it should have been the opposite. If anything, they should have started with Smith and then gone from there. I mean, that's just my opinion. You play with the better player. Especially, I was keep bringing this up, but I mean, the quarterback is my use case. This Madden, I mean, overall skill point really matters. So, yeah, you always got to roll with the better overall if you got someone like Smith.
The Raiders and that high-powered offense actually getting outscored. Questions in the secondary. I guess just like the real-life Raiders, no one in the AFC West is outscoring their opponents so far this season. So that's something to keep an eye on. If one of these teams can turn into a contender in the AFC, they're going to have to turn that around for sure. We'll move on to the NFC North, where it seems like the Packers have a hold on the division.
190.
Yeah, talk about dropping points. Aaron Rodgers on a mission. Can they run the table?
We'll have to see. I kind of want to break that down, Packers, once we get into the stats here. So that's interesting to see. Vikings not scoring a lot, but not letting up a lot of points. You know, for a 1-3 team, 89 points is not a lot to let up. We'll mention that.
Yeah, you get Dalvin Cook rolling, anything can happen there with that defense. We'll move on to my division, the NFC South.
So you're the Saints, right?
Yeah.
You're a past 760 Super Bowl champion, are you not?
Super Bowl representative.
Oh, all right. My bad there, but
reigning AFC champion.
Give a quick props to these Panthers. I'm pretty sure that's a new user.
Yeah, you know what?
The division.
You beat me. You're in my respect immediately. I'm no joke. Usually, I'm off to a rough start this year, but
man, he's no joke.
I'm coming for that division. Don't count me out.
You heard the man. He's no joke. But sitting right there at third in the division, nowhere near out. Only 4 weeks in. I mean, like we mentioned, any of these. I mean, looking at the AFC West, that's anyone's division. But at this point, you could be the Bucks and still come away with that division. So. Interesting to see, but yeah, Panthers taking it, first place slot for now.
Move on to the NFC East, Giants and Odell Beckham. I believe Davis Webb is the starting quarterback in New York this season.
Really? What happened to Eli?
Eli's just old, man.
Guy didn't want to roll with him?
I guess not. You have the Cowboys getting outscored by almost 50, and they're still 2-2.
That's real interesting to see. You know, I had that Cowboys team in a league last Madden, and all you got to do is give it to Zeke. You know, really, that's all you got to do. I'm really surprised to see them only at 117 points and 2 wins, 2-2. I mean, in real life, you know, they lost 7 starters on D before the start of this year. So you wonder if maybe their Madden defense isn't that great, but yeah, that's definitely interesting to see.
I'm a Captain Kirk guy. I don't like that 2-game losing streak, only 3-point differential. See if they can make a run at the NFC East. And last but not least, we have the NFC West, where Q Pierce, 24, seems to be running away with 198 points in only 4 games.
59.5 points a game. 49.5 points a game, right under 50.
Absolutely ridiculous. Only allowing 72. Coming for you, Q.
Hey, you got Saints over here. He's kind of talking himself up. You know, he's saying, Gouda, I'll see you next time. He's saying that, you know, like, I'm a force to be reckoned with. And then here he's calling out Q.
Yo, I like to think Q and I are low-key rivals going on. He beats me more than I beat him, that's for sure. But,
yeah. Good to see. All right, so yeah, Sandon's looking good here. Like we mentioned, you know, early in the year, anyone can run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, currently in the playoffs, right now, it would be the Titans, Dolphins, Bengals, and Raiders with the division leads, and then the Jets and the Browns with the 2 wild card spots in the AFC.
You don't see that every day.
And over in the NFC, you'd have the Giants, the Packers, the Cardinals, and the Panthers as the 4 division winners, and you'd have the Falcons and the Saints as the 2 wild card teams. So as of right now, you'd have 3 NFC South teams in the postseason in the NFC. A lot of season ahead though, so can't look too much into that. Now to go over to the stat book, where I just got to point something out, everyone. I mean, you got to look at these interception touchdown ratios and wonder what's happening. I mean, the Bucks 5-23, Rivers 9-21. I mean, CJ Beathard kind of expected. What's going on with Matt Stafford? 3 touchdowns, 18 interceptions.
Look at these numbers. I mean, you guys there are some guys here with near 20 picks and 5 touchdowns. You know, I mean, I'm not sure what the problem, and if people are still getting used to the game, just chucking it deep, but, you know, I really gotta stress, overall is important in this Madden, and building off of that, don't be afraid to just check down if you have, say, like a 79 deep throw accuracy, but you got like an 88, you know, check your short routes. No need to just toss it up, because I mean, just as a fan of the game, I hate to see these numbers. I want to see these numbers as realistic as possible, so and hopefully everyone gets kind of back on track, at least this year or starting next year.
And what you're seeing on the TV is Russell Wilson is a Buffalo Bill. Big trade went down. Tyrod Taylor, a first and a third for Russell Wilson to get Wilson into Buffalo. What are your thoughts on that trade?
I mean, kind of interesting. I mean, they gave up a lot to get him. But hey, I mean, they're kind of similar quarterbacks. I don't really know what else the Bills have got going for them. Something I want to point out, looking at Russell's stats, not only the 5 touchdown, 15 pick, but that man's been sacked 17 times in 4 games.
I mean, I don't think he's played for Buffalo yet. The Seattle O-line is atrocious in his defense.
Just some statistics to point out here. Brock Osweiler getting a little playing time, looked like, for the Broncos.
Yeah, it looks like all 3 QBs have played a little bit. Paxton completing 68% of his passes when he plays for 305 yards a game. You have to think that's a look over what Simeon was producing early on. Kaiser having a decent rookie year, leading the Browns to 3-1.
Yeah, they're rolling with him, and kind of how we touched on. I mean, Seahawks or wherever Russell got sacked 17 times. Kaiser's only been sacked 5 times. You know, Browns really invested in that O-line this offseason, and it looks like it's paid off for him in Madden here. So, pretty interesting. You know, we keep rolling through. All right, so. What else are we rolling with here? We'll keep looking at passing stats for now. We'll go over to the Bucks, and like we saw here, Jameis with 23 picks in 4 games. I mean, I'm not sure what's happening there.
Gotta love to see that here in the NFC South. The 2 rookies seem to be leading the way, and not Mike Evans. Chris Godwin,
yeah,
O.J. Howard.
Surprised
seem to be the 2 guys there.
You know, you just gotta wonder what's going on. Maybe I need to tune into some more games, but man, just a lot of picks being thrown. Just
around the league, Carson Palmer looks great for Q. 7 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. I can't imagine many people have thrown less than 3 interceptions. So that's just efficiency at its finest for 66% of his passes getting completed.
Yeah, Carson's looking like a runaway for QB of the year early. Just due to all these picks, man, you know. So many picks. Just another example of that here with Phil. So anyway.
We got 7 people watching. Thank you guys, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I mean, the style of this, it's kind of like we're just running through a conversation, but glad to see some people watching. I mean, if you guys have anything you want us to touch on or any extra comments, just throw it in the group me and tag us, because we're looking at our phones too.
You can also leave a message on Twitch. We'll get it right on the screen here if you'd like us to go over something. Smoking Jay.
Yeah, look at that. Another decent QB stat, and I mean, it shows. You know, that's 2 4-0 teams. So I mean,
you don't turn over the ball, you don't lose. Tends to be how it goes.
Just keep rolling through some of these QBs here. CJ Beathard, so that's interesting. Starting the rookie there in San Fran.
Davis Webb's looking good. It was the right. Looks like it's the right decision not to play Eli here.
Yes, I can't believe that. I mean, it seems like it's working out though. You happen to know who the Giants are this year?
Can't say I do.
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
But hey, props to Giants thus far. So Bryce Petty, like we were talking earlier, who's the Jets QB? It's Bryce Petty.
Doesn't even look like McCown's on the roster.
Interesting. As we touched on earlier, Stafford, under 50 completion percentage too.
It's a rough start for the Lions.
Cam having a decent season. Like we said, that's a first-year player here in 760. So, hope got some new talent here. Looks like he's all right. Tom Brady, near 70 completion percentage.
You expect much else? 99 overall QB. I'd hope the numbers look decent.
Yeah, that's true.
Over there.
So Goff in real life, how about that? His week 1 outing was great.
It was. He was a little shaky last week, threw that pick at the end, but hey.
And here we got you. Only been sacked 5 times. More touchdowns than picks, but
10 picks is a lot of picks. We're looking to lost a couple games already. Looking to get that number down definitely. But yeah, those are the QB stats. I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of interceptions around the league. Makes me feel less bad about throwing 10 through 4 games. It looks like everyone's struggling to adjust to the new Madden. Coverage is definitely a lot different. Like man coverage is, when you saw man last Madden, it was something you attacked, and now, I mean, the corners run the routes better than the receivers sometimes.
That's true. So looking at this, our leader in passing yards right now is Dak, with Mitch Trubisky following him right there. See Breeze up there. Touchdowns, we've got a couple people right up at that 11-10 range. But I mean, we'll stop talking about picks here. But just as a league, we should work on that QB accuracy, work on some reads, jump in some practice games, guys. Because let's get this back on track. You know, we got a couple more weeks to go here, and then season will kind of start to define itself. But move on to rushing here. You just want to look at it in the NFL view, or you want to look at it by team?
The NFL view is perfectly fine with me. Jay Ajayi looking real good early on. This week we have the Titans versus the Dolphins. It'll be DeMarco Murray against Jay Ajayi.
2 running teams.
2 featured running backs, absolutely.
4 games, nearly 100 yards, or 100 carries, excuse me. So definitely pounding the rock, and I mean, hey, it's paying off thus far. But
David Johnson with 11 touchdowns.
Almost
4
8
games
yards to carry. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Ajayi's got 7. Zeke has 8 yards to carry. The Cowboys 2-2. It looks like they are feeding Zeke. Dre Archer.
I like to touch on this real quick, just because that happens to be my QB. So Mariota, he had a 92-yard touchdown run the other week. Before that, he had a 50-yarder. So that's interesting to see.
What about CJ Beathard?
Yeah.
13 rushes, 150 yards. The rookie showing some athleticism for San Fran. Great to see. Ryan Matthews having a very good year for the Colts.
Yeah. Move on to receiving here. So we got a rookie for our leader in receptions.
John Ross and O.J. Howard. That's 2 rookies.
And you got your guy right here, Michael Thomas.
Absolutely. Michael Thomas gonna have a great year.
Some tight ends up here. Wide variety up at the top of receptions, but everyone, no clear differentiator here for the leader. Everyone's right around the same number, 23, 22. So we'll see how that kind of plays out as the season goes on.
Kevin White did not get injured, looks like.
And that's
498 yards for 4 games.
And the thing is, you can tell this guy's not just sending him on streaks and bombing him. He's got a 4.4 average run after catch. So Kevin White and helping out Trubisky there up in Chicago. You remember what their record was?
2-2, I believe.
2-2. Interesting.
Godwin looking good. The rookie in Tampa seems to be taking Mike Evans' spot as the go-to guy in Tampa Bay, along with O.J. Howard. Interesting.
Definitely. Curtis Samuel. Look at that.
Scored a couple on me. You know what that's like.
John Ross. So these rookies seem to be doing well for people, and I mean, hey, good for them, you know. Get those guys developed, but at the same time, you know, I've been kind of preaching this the whole time, talking about just playing the best overall guy.
And we've been talking about picks all day. Let's look at these defensive stats, see what's going on around the league.
So Kuechly
leading the league in tackles. That's not unexpected.
No, not surprised by that at all. I'm kind of curious about sacks here.
Joey Bosa, Marcus Golden.
7.5 in 4 games, you know.
That ain't bad.
Good pace there. But yeah, let's move on to what we're all talking about. That's those picks. So
Ron Parker,
2
8 interceptions.
You know, really interesting to see. Just kind of crazy, like we were talking about. So many picks, but for a guy to have 8 picks in 4 games,
got to be doing something right down in Kansas City. Hopefully Alex Smith can take over that QB job and bring some stability to Kansas City.
Yeah, so interesting to see. A lot of guys around the 5 and 4 range for picks, but you know, Ron Parker running away with that early. It'll be curious to see how that plays out.
How about defensive touchdowns?
Let's check out these fumbles real quick.
So forced fumbles.
So Cravens is playing strong safety. Interesting to see.
Josh Norman forcing some fumbles.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Anyone getting some blocks early in the air? Huh. You yourself. Look at that.
I don't know if I did that. I think that was in a sim.
That's interesting.
Yeah. In terms of safeties, we got a few going on so far.
Actually, I believe that was against me, you know, the Jags safety, if I remember right. But defensive tutties, Clinton Dix with 3 already.
Landon Collins also with 3. That's almost won a game from a defensive back. That's always a great thing to have going your way.
You know, just off the top of my head, I see Clinton Dix and then Randall. 5.
5 just between those 2 guys, and Devon House at 7.
That's 7.
Looks like that Packers defense, we all got to watch out. They're going to outscore some of our offenses.
Let's go check out the Packers, actually, because I want to see if anyone else has got one. Wow. Look at that.
The Packers defense looks like it knows how to find the end zone.
11 defensive touchdowns in 4 games. And like we noted, they're, they were close to being the highest scoring offense, right?
I think that takes it at just points for, so that would take in all the defensive touchdowns. Rodgers isn't having the greatest of seasons, and Ty Montgomery isn't either. I mean, that defense really helping them out, getting off to that 4-0 start.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go zoom in on the Cardinals too, because they were actually the highest scoring team. So let's kind of see. Let's check out their defense. I'm curious if that's where some of the success is coming, similar to the Packers. Just 3. So let's go check out where all these points are coming from.
David Johnson, 11 touchdown rushes through 4 games.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know. That's 2.75 a game so far. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
All right. Well, let's take a look at let's go take a look at some of these rookies and just talk about their place on some of these teams. So most notably, let's go talk about Bears, because they're playing Trubisky at QB. Let's take a look at him. He's already up to an 80 overall. Do you know what he started at?
I do not, but that's a great look for Chicago. Looks like they have their QB of the future. 93 throw power. Got it made. Just get those accuracies up. He'll be a stud.
Yeah, definitely. So I know Texans weren't having that much luck with Watson. Let's check him out. You know, accuracy, you know, short accuracy is good. I don't know if 88 throw power, that's interesting. Interesting to see, but, you know, just 21.
It's workable. You can work with the 88 throw power from a 21-year-old quarterback once you develop them. The 84 speed certainly helps as well, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Mahomes was starting for a little bit. I know they went back to Alex Smith, but we could look at that as well. He's already up to an 80 overall with 97 throw power, and he's only 21. So he's kind of the best of both worlds between Deshaun Watson and Mitch Trubisky. He's got a strong arm, and he's got the youth on his side. Who else? The Niners. Beathard. What's Beathard look like? Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, 66 awareness. I mean, when you're actually playing in game, I'm not too sure how that affects the formula. But yeah, the 83 short accuracy, 80 medium accuracy, that's not a bad QB to play with at all.
The rookie from Iowa.
Yeah, I'm curious to see Davis Webb. Let's see what's going on here.
I mean, he's solid.
22, investing in the future for the Giants.
Gotta go for that rookie of the year.
But I definitely would prefer to be playing Eli.
If I didn't have Breeze, I would definitely look into acquiring Eli. Don't really have need a QB at the time for the time being.
Tips for anyone Tips for people struggling. Looks like we got a little comment here. What about the surprising teams and underachieving teams, maybe? Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that. So let's go back to the standings here. I know we touched on the Browns a little bit. Definitely surprised to see that. Just kind of blowing me away, the 3-1 team. You know, I'm kind of curious. The Ravens 0-4. I'll definitely say that's underachieving. I mean, look, you got the Browns in your division, so I'm not sure what the Bengals roster looks like. I can definitely tell you in real life they're not looking like a 3-1 team. But yeah,
good Madden team, I think. Got AJ Green, Dalton, Gio, Jeremy Hill, Joe Mixon.
Yeah, and that guy was
playing.
scoring.
Eifert.
John Ross. You know,
yeah,
in real life,
that's some
on
weapons.
his first carry. That's funny.
You gotta think the Texans are a little disappointed with this defense. I mean, worse than the AFC South. Where do they rank in the NFL? I mean, when you take over the Texans, I'm sure you're hoping that your defense really carries your team. I mean, not really an offensive roster.
Yeah, definitely
outside
not.
of DeAndre Hopkins.
You got some talent there. I mean, it'd be fun to be playing with DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sure you could just toss him up. I like Lamar Miller personally, but yeah, definitely not the best situation at QB. So 152 points for that defense is surprising.
You got to think 2-2 with the Patriots isn't where the Patriots thought they would be when given the team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a team. You have potential. You play average and you go 16-0. I mean, look at that roster. You got a 99 overall QB. I keep touching on this, but in this Madden, it's so important to have a good overall QB. Those ratings really take into effect, especially if you're like me and you like to use the directional passing. It's unreal playing with a 99 overall QB versus playing with someone like, I mean, if you're trying to directional pass with Deshaun Watson, that's kind of how you end up with in your 20 picks.
Yeah, and you got Gronk, Brandon Cooks to throw to. Edelman's a 92 overall in this game. He's definitely a weapon. Defensively, you got Stephon Gilmore and Malcolm Butler at corner. I mean, you got to hope for more. They are outscoring their opponents by 25, so maybe some unlucky breaks factoring into this 2-2 start. But I mean, if they're going to catch Gouda, who's looked fantastic early on this year, they're going to have to start figuring out how to take advantage of all the weapons on the roster.
Definitely.
The Broncos defense not looking great. The no-fly zone appears to be no more for the time being, at least. I mean, their offense is outscoring everyone else in their division, and they're in last due to their defense. You don't like to see that. You got Talib, Chris Harris, Von Miller. So
I think, you know, for the first show, we kind of wrapped up. We looked at a lot of different things here. Looked at some of these teams that are performing, some of these new guys, some of these stats. But I mean, like we mentioned here, only 4 weeks in. We got a long way to go in 760 year one. We're going to be doing this show I think we're going for it weekly. Hey, you want to touch on the Seahawks real quick?
Yeah, I mean, 0-4 start for the Seahawks, getting outscored by 105 points through 4 weeks. Hopefully the trade for Tyrod Taylor sparks a struggling offense who's only put up 60 points through 4 weeks. That's what, 15 points a game?
That's something like that.
You're going to need more than that. I mean, hopefully Tyrod's the answer there at quarterback, and he really helps his team get competitive in the NFC West.
We'll see how that plays out, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. At one point, we had like 8 guys watching. We got 6 on now, and I mean, this stream will be available on Twitch. Anyone wants to go through, watch it again. Otherwise, let's keep playing these games in, getting these advances like we have been. Start throwing a little less picks, and yeah, we'll be doing this show once a week. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Let us know how we did. Have a good night.